Please go on, Stephan. Please go on.
Yes.
Thanks, Don. So what I was saying, that the mold that these boxers broke was that normally sports on that level excluded them. So not only did they bring the skills with them, they brought a new way of looking at a people. And it created friendships. It created more enemies than it created friendships, because you could prove that you could perform on a higher level. So each ethnicity, whether you were Italian or Irish, you had somebody who represented your struggle. Now, boxing, I don't even put, and I don't want to say this wrong, I don't put mixed martial arts in that kind of category. I don't see, even though mixed martial arts is new, is fantastic, I don't see it as having that ability. First of all, the sport is not old enough. It's a phenomenal sport. It's very popular.
Yes.
It has a future, and all mixed martial arts athletes have to box. It's one of the elements in that sport. Now, boxing to me has lost its journey to the top. It has become an elitist game controlled by promoters who just want to make money off the big fights. You know what I mean? So you want to see big fighter number one fight big fighter two, and it's very media and television oriented. It's not venue oriented. I mean, you can't pay Floyd Mayweather $45 million from a 20-seat arena anywhere else in the world. Excuse me, from a 20,000-seat arena anywhere on earth. That money has to come from a broader, more international access. So that's pay-per-view. So to pay a guy $45 million, that money has to come from. But at the same time, for Manny Pacquiao to say, I don't want to fight Floyd Mayweather because the only amount of money I'm making is $40 million, I think it does a detriment to the sport.
Sure.
They're great athletes that people never get a chance to see because there's no media to show the guy below the world championship level that stretches internationally. Now,
yeah, it's funny. It's funny that you're talking about that because I know somebody who's becoming a pro in the next month in the mixed martial arts, and that whole thing is basically a pay-per-view environment, initially live, and then you go and you buy the actual fight that you want to watch for like $3, $4, $5. So it's totally money-driven. It loses the whole potential of it really being a sport, but that's true of all sports, wouldn't you say?
Well, I mean, look, you're not going to make the kind of money. An individual is not going to make the kind of money in a team sport that you can make in an individual sport. I mean, if you're paying one guy on the team $45 million a game, that's not going to happen. Because you're going to have to. So boxing itself is a very unique sport on earth, the amounts of money that can be paid. Now, I want to take my hat off to mixed martial arts because what you just said is very smart. Mixed martial arts has found a way to get into the game and hold a position. Mixed martial arts is kind of like the internet. There was, or kind of like, I don't want to say it's like Facebook, like Mark Zuckerberg, because that's a different story. But the elements or the business people in mixed martial arts have done an absolutely wonderful marketing job. It's just that I'm older and I come from a further back dimension. Most mixed martial arts followers, they're all young people. So, I mean, I remember the Gillette Parade of Futures. I remember the Friday night fights. I remember the Jersey Joe Walker. I remember as a child watching these fights. Mixed martial arts wasn't around then. So obviously in different segments of evolution, you're going to have different starts. People remember the candle, people remember the light bulb. but boxing is dear to me, and I think that great athletes deserve to be seen, not just when they're fighting for world championships.
Sure.
So we've put something together called the North American Boxing Games. The North American Boxing Games looks at more of an amateur, more of a pro-am approach, where great fans get a chance to see great athletes all the time, not just when they are fighting for a world championship. You follow me? I mean, if you fought Don, and I had the opportunity to promote that, I would not want people who hear you on the radio not have an opportunity to see you fight until you have fought 45 times.
Right.
We fight. We fight
all the time, so
we
we're
fight
up to
all the
45.
time, every day off
Yeah,
here.
we're
not
up to
getting
45
paid.
times. Come on, Don, let's go.
Yeah, I didn't mean to put myself. I sound like Don King. I didn't mean to put myself right into your business, as the promoter. But I was just using that as an example, Rich. You're from New York. Yeah, I'm just using an example. So what I'm saying is I think.
Hey, Steph, what about the upcoming Olympic Games? Now, there is a boxing component in the Summer Olympics, isn't that correct?
Yeah.
So how are you involved at all in the promoting of the Canadian athletes or anything like that up there, or are you just kind of waiting?
I'm working with if you come into a neighborhood, like in the old days, if you come into a neighborhood, you're going to have to marry somebody or something. You can't just come in and take something out of it. So I mean, I have a family here. I'm very much involved in the Quebec diaspora. I don't see it as a American or Canadian. I'm trying to, if I had my way, I would talk to Barack Obama, see if he could make Quebec a state.
Ooh.
Don't tell anybody on the radio I said that. Let's play that down.
Yeah, let's just play that down. Don's saying, you could have Quebec. That's what he told me once.
Well,
Hell no.
I'm saying you had Hawaii and Alaska. Why not the first French state? Why not the first state where the French and the Quebecois are going to get mad at me? I don't know. Some people may think it's a good idea, but I think we could expand a little bit.
No, let me tell you very quickly on that thought. My vision says that one day in the distant future, we will be called United States of North America.
I can see that.
I say again?
I can see that.
Yeah, but you know what? I could see that only after there's financial ruin up north, because you guys have such strong character and are very prideful, and I don't think that they would say, "Oh, yeah, we're going to become part of America now. We're Canadians. That's our thing."
Well, let me ask you a question. There's I don't want to step on the Don. I don't want to step on Rich's financial turf. But there's word of something called the North American Union. This currency called the Amero.
Yep.
The Amero. Oh boy.
Yeah, the Amero came out circa 1997 is when they started talking about it.
Yeah, that's about when the euro started circulating.
Yeah.
You think such a thing could be possible? There's one country in North America where the relationship between Mexico, the United States, and Canada is such that there's one currency. And
well, that was one of the premises behind the NAFTA agreement that came out back then in '96, which basically gutted the United States of manufacturing in one fell swoop of the pen. So hey, why not give them financial control too? I mean, I just it's one of those things where it may happen, but it'll only be through financial ruin that we'll need to bond together. It won't be other reasons.
Stephan, for the little time that I've known you, folks, I want to say this, and I don't get involved in politics that well, but if Stephan were leading the province of Quebec, I'd start voting again.
No, Rich, you're going to get me in trouble, man.
Rich, it's
Uh-oh.
Don Zeno. This is Don Zeno saying it.
Don. I'm sorry, Don. You're going to get me in trouble now.
No, I'm dead serious.
I'm not trying to get votes, Don. You're going to get me
you got
shot
my.
at.
Listen, in the little time that I've known you, you got my vote. Seriously, but now, folks, let's get back into the ring, as they say, and let's continue to fight
Ding, ding,
boxing. I've noticed that you have a lot of connections. Do you follow what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I've noticed you have a lot of connections. You want to talk to us about anything that's upcoming now of what you'd like to do with this boxing industry?
Can I talk a little bit about us, or is it too premature?
No, I think this is the appropriate time because.
What about us? What about us? What are you guys getting married or something?
Yeah, we are.
No.
But let me say this, because we're going to come up on wrap-up time in about 2 minutes from what I'm seeing here, looking at the clock. And I think the last segment on wrap-up time, the last 12 minutes of talk time, you really need to embrace what your vision is that got me all excited in the last week. It's very, very important that our listeners tune in and embrace what your vision is about to do for the good of humanity, for the good of the boxing world, for the good of Quebec as a nation that would like to propel forwards, but is lacking. Let me say it as it is, and I'm well positioned to say it. Quebec is lacking the American gung-ho confidence that has built America and made it to what it is today, a couple of hundred years later. Take it from there, Stephan, would you?
Well, Rich, I mean, your partner and I, Don, are talking about a unity, the idea of joining forces and extending something that exists that most people don't know about. There's a huge French population in the United States. That population is about maybe 12 million people who really don't have a connection to their place of origin. And their place of origin doesn't necessarily have a connection to them. Now, Don has a radio network, and what we've decided to do is put a visual image to that radio network and take it into a global arena by combining internet radio with digital television, and coming up with a channel that deals with sports, entertainment, and lifestyle. That is a joint venture that Don and I are talking about doing. And we want to launch that by kicking off something that I've done before in Montreal, which is a championship week. That is like normally when a fight goes to a location, or you mentioned the Olympics before. When the Olympics go to London, then London prospers financially from this influx of people coming to London, or the
tourism.
Beg your pardon?
The tourism boost.
The tourism, just the nature of.
Stephan, so hold that thought. We're going to take our last break here on VIP Business Insider. Folks, when we come back, it's wrap-up time, and this is where it becomes most interesting so that you can spread the words to your family and friends. Please stay tuned. Don Emilio Zeno back here on the VIP Business Insider, and on the wrap-up time. This week, we were interviewing our VIP guest, who's a media, public relations, business development connoisseur, entrepreneur, but more important, he's a film and television producer, a great communicator, a very disciplined man, a very nice man, very kind man that impressed me in the last week or so that I've known him. And folks, help us welcome back Mr. A. Stephan. I call him the light Moss. Richard, let me tell you a little joke. Thank God he took it as a joke. I wrote something on Facebook where I introduced him as Steve the Light Moss. This guy moves like lightning. He comes in like a storm and moves like lightning. It's like lightning, you know? Yeah, I think no wonder he was friends with Muhammad Ali. I float like a butterfly and I sting like a bee, you know?
Sure.
My lady told me to stop trying to sneak in an energy bar while I'm talking to you guys and stop talking so long, get to the point.
That's just like a woman to tell you
Leave
that.
it to the women. I was just about to say that.
I'm going to try to get to the point. So the idea is beginning on the 6th or so of August, we're going to have something, not like a World's Fair, but we're going to try to show the visitors coming here what Quebec is really like. Don King is coming. He's bringing an athlete. With Don King comes Showtime. So in the time that I've been here, HBO, Showtime, the Friday night fights. As a matter of fact, when John Pascal fought Chad Dawson, Pascal, who is Quebecois, excuse me, not Quebecois, but Haitian, he's a Quebecer of Haitian descent. Pascal became the richest paid Canadian boxer on Canadian soil. And this was the first time HBO came here in about 20 or almost 30 years, because America is normally the champion, especially in the heavier weight classes. America has dominated until recently, as Russian now, but recently the heavier weight classes. So Quebec has become the focal point for boxing in North America, more so almost than Las Vegas or Atlantic City. So with this influx of champions, including, you mentioned earlier, mixed martial arts, Georges St. Pierre, normally this brings an economic reality. People want to spend money, stay in hotels, so forth and so on. So we're going to try to do something that brings that economic reality down to the ground so that local entrepreneurs can share in those proceeds and still enjoy themselves as a great fight. So there are a number of events we're having leading up to this World Championship fight, where we're going to be interviewing on this program the likes of Don King, the likes of Georges St. Pierre, the likes of Emmanuel Stewart, who is in the Hall of Fame. We want to bring that to VIP Internet Radio and share that around the world with a visual image.
And Rich?
Yep.
Don King is finally going to meet Don Zeno.
Oh my gosh. I just think it would be kind of funny if you guys had the same haircut. That's all.
I'm jealous. He's got a lot more hair than I have.
Tell him, Don, Rich, what I suggested, that Don tried to do something like Don Zeno tried to do something like Don King, but we had a discussion about that before. We don't think that's a good idea.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I don't think you should either. Yeah.
No. Oh my God.
No, but I think Don King will really like Don Zeno.
Well, you might have to watch out, because if you offend Don King, I think Al Sharpton will come up and get you.
Yeah,
so.
No.
Zeno's Italian, man. It has that ring of kind of mystery around it.
Yeah. No,
if you got a friend named Don Zeno, you should be okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm thinking like Al Sharpton might be this American Franco or Franco-American type person too.
No, I get along with everyone.
I'm gonna have to reserve my opinion of Al Sharpton for when we get off the radio. I'm not saying I don't like Al.
Yeah, well, no, I'm just saying he acts like he's French, so that's all.
You think he's French, Don?
No.
Is he okay?
No, you don't think Al Sharpton's French? He's indignant. He thinks he's right all the time. Sounds French to me.
Is that French or is that Quebecois?
Oh, it could be Quebecois. That's true.
Okay.
No. We're hang on a second now. You're coming into my territory right now, and I can tell you overall. Hey, Stephan, I'm sure you married one. Overall, French Canadians are good people. Wouldn't you agree with me?
Absolutely. I'll tell you the thing that's most intimidating for me as a ego tripping who's been a bunch of places that thinks he is the, I don't want to say God Almighty, is when you get hit with everybody here speaks more than one language, even the little kids. So it's very intimidating when you it's not a feeling of inferiority. I don't mean that. It's just a brand new start where you need to pick up not a second language, but maybe a third or fourth or fifth, just to be well-rounded. I think people just like me because of my personality or something. There's definitely it's not my multilingual skills that get me over here in Quebec, but it's the most fascinating place that I think I've ever. It is absolutely wonderful. I wouldn't replace the experience for anything in the world. It's just a marvelous place, and it's an experience that I like to share with people back in the States.
Well, here's the deal. I'm going to take care of you when it comes to communicating in more than just the English language. If you promise to take care of me as a bodyguard, if and when I make a lot of money, how's that for a deal?
Well, I hope I still have those Marine skills. If not, we can shoot them. No problem.
At close quarters anyway, I'm sure. You're not going to have to pull out the sniper rifle.
Yeah, no guns here, Rich. No guns. No need for guns. No need for guns here, Rich.
Oh yeah, let's not get into that conversation with the mishap that happened recently. I don't even want to go there. No, anyways. So
I thank you so much, Rich, and thank you so much, John. I've really enjoyed it.
I wish we had more time, but I'm going to ask Rich to throw in one last question, if you may, Rich, and then we're going to ask our VIP guest, Mr. Stephan Moss, to throw in his wrap-up statement, and then, with your permission, I'd like to close the show and invite all of our listeners to tune in next week for some other VIP guests.
Sure. Hey, what's this awakening as one thing that you got? Posted the Vimeo.
You paid attention to that, huh? As Denzel said, as part of my process, the idea with me is to try to get towards a singularity. Singularity meaning that there's a common thread amongst all things on earth, whether you are a plant or a person. Sometimes when people refer to God, they just think God has a relationship with people, and that's it. We were actually the last creation. It was everything before man.
Yep.
So there is an awareness that comes upon you. Maybe it's because we're getting closer to this event, 2012. I'm very much aware of being alive. As I always say to Don, I have the I don't want to call it luck. I've survived a number of near-death experiences. I was in the Marines. I'm a Vietnam-era veteran. I was on the police department. I was undercover narcotics. I did some other things. I've lived a life where somehow I've survived, and I'm still young. And so it's kind of hard to explain how you feel about life when you've been through a near-death experience. You have a different appreciation for everything. And that's kind of what this awakening is about, this awakening to what the essence of life really is, and giving brings you more rewards than receiving. I mean, the more you give, the more you're going to receive.
Right.
And so for me, I'm going to close it with this. I wrote a piece called An Ancient Legacy, and this is the last verse. It says, I apologize for not being able to write this in the dialect of our ancestors, for they've left us a legacy we refuse to sense. It's there, like love is there, and I can vaguely see his history and slightly hear his voice ring out, echo from endless corridors of concrete, glass, and brick from a different time, space, and dimension. Listen, I mean really, really listen. I apologize for not being able to say this in the dialect of our ancestors, for they've left us a legacy we refuse to sense. So I think that if we go back and pay attention to our ancestors and really listen to that legacy, we'd all do better on Earth.
Sure. Wow.
Steve?
Yes.
Stephan Moss, entrepreneur, media promoter, film and television producer. What can I say? It's very rare that I'm awed by a VIP guest, given the fact that I've been doing this for 5 years now. I'm a veteran, obviously. I've been awed. I could listen to you talk all night. Unfortunately, I'm being flagged that we have 1 minute left. So all I want to say is welcome on board. I'm glad I met you. Sorry I couldn't have met you years ago. I would have been in a different place now, I guess. God bless you. God bless your family, your newborn. And we look forward to working with you, and hopefully VIP Internet Radio will make your organization shine even more. For you, Richard,
Yes,
take
sir.
his advice. You got to give more. So Christmas is just around the corner. Make sure you have my Christmas gift ready.
Yeah, I know. I got the bag of coal for you.
And for you folks,
I just met you, but me too, Rich.
and for you folks, wherever you may be listening to us across North America, whether live or archive, we sincerely want to wish you all the best in health and in wealth, because it goes hand in hand. Spread the word out that VIP Business Insider is on every week at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on VIPinternetradio.com. Until next one, have a great one.